hated this town. No aura.
What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and I can't believe that Treyarch actually tweeted that clip a couple of days ago, let alone the fact they got Nolan North to actually record that line. I believe that was playing a joke on the feedback that they received about Liberty Falls after the COD Next broadcast, where a lot of folks out there said that the map was just too bright and sunny, didn't feel like it had the aura of a zombies map, hence why they're playing a joke around the fact that the map doesn't have aura, as you could see in the Twitter clip itself. That's also the pre-launch version of the map, not the version we ended up getting, but it's kind of ironic seeing some comments saying that they wish they had gotten that version of Liberty. But yeah, you could thank everybody for crying after the COD Next event. Regardless, today we're going to be focusing on the new Dark Ops challenges and rewards in Black Ops 6 Zombies. Definitely stay tuned. Now, I do want to start by talking about Shatter for a second. The brand new and confirmed ammo mod that is going to be releasing this season. I thought I was going crazy, but when I was playing Grief on stream the other day, I noticed that in the Arsenal machine, it said that I couldn't buy Shatter because it wouldn't be unlocked until the Rivals event, which is confirmed to start during the second week of June. Now, I went back to the original blog, and what do you know, it does say that Shatter was meant to be a launch add-on that you can access in the menu, right? You can already research the augments for Shatter right now, which I highly recommend doing, but we all thought that Shatter would immediately be available upon booting up our 4th season. Luckily, you only need about, I think it's 40,000-ish XP in that event to get this item. Just sucks we have to wait a little bit longer for it. Now, to also remind you guys, these are the gobblegums you get in the Season 4 Battle Pass. In case you were curious, there's 2 Killjoys, 2 Quacknarok Whimsicals, 2 Shields Up, 2 Soda Fountains, 2 Wall Powers, and 1 Wonder Bar inside of the completion page of the Battle Pass. Now, speaking of rewards, there's a lot of folks out there talking about Grief right now, and unfortunately, there aren't any rewards for just playing the mode. It's really a mode that you're just meant to enjoy, and my response to that, as I mentioned on the recent podcast, is that the mode in its current state, I think, would have made the most sense in Black Ops 4, but in the current live service era that Black Ops 6 is in, I think this mode needed a little bit more substance, whether it means more objectives or rewards for maybe getting X amount of wins or griefing X amount of players. I think at the very least, you know, some basic cosmetics, whether it's gobblegums or emblems, maybe a cool blueprint, I think that would have went pretty hard. Even if it was just weapon stickers featuring the grief icons for each of the teams, that still would have been something that I think would have been more appropriate for the current era we're in for COD. I think it's harder for them to add in modes that you're just meant to play and enjoy without the actual inclusion of some type of reward system. Let me know how you guys feel about that down below, but we of course have the King of the Dead event dropping later on in June, and the first part of that event, which I got a snippet of in the recent Season 4 creator call, will be kind of like a community event, which to my understanding is going to take a look at everybody's stats globally. So for the first part of the event, it's going to be tracking how many kills you get in every game mode, and there'll be rewards presented to the top, I think 1%, I think it's 5%, and then even 15%. So I don't think it's just going to be the top #1 player in the world. It'll just be a bracket you have to hit to end up getting a certain reward by the end of the event. Now, of course, they'll provide more details with the mid-season blog in a couple of weeks, but there's also a grief part of the event, which is going to track how much essence you collect in this game mode. We're not sure what the rewards are going to be yet. Hopefully something worthwhile like Pack-a-Punch camos or something else around that nature, but I'll keep you guys in the loop about that one. Now, grief, of course, is a permanent mode, but we have 2 LTMs also coming later on in the season, like the Starting Room Challenge and even the Abomination LTM that takes place on a new twisted version of Liberty Falls. I'm assuming those LTMs will be similar to some of the recent ones we got, where there's gobblegum rewards, calling cards, even XP. We'll just have to wait and see. But speaking of rewards, it looks like brand new Dark Ops challenges were finally added with the launch of our season, and it seems like they may have just been delayed for whatever reason, because we only got 1 new Dark Ops per DLC map, and then 1 Dark Ops for the Grief mode. The Grief challenge is, and I quote, get 115 wins while playing Grief. Luckily, this mode is permanent, so it's not like an LTM that's going to expire in a couple of weeks or even a month. This is a mode that you can play forever, so long as you own BO6. There's even a free trial going on right now that gives you access to all Grief arenas, but 115 wins will take people a minute, unless you get lucky by joining into some matches and the enemy team either loses real quick or disconnects after 20 minutes or so. Most matches with some competent teammates and some competent enemies will probably last longer than an hour, so that's theoretically 115 hours you have to play Grief for, depending on how good the enemy team actually is. And unfortunately, the Dark Ops calling cards aren't animated. I know sometimes they could be, but as far as this Grief Challenge goes, it's going to take a lot from people to actually get this one done. Now, if you guys are wondering if, let's say, Gobblegums are a necessity to getting a win in Grief, I mean, they definitely give you a big boost, don't get me wrong, but I'd say a big strat for winning is to focus on upgrading your melee weapon. In the case that you get Grief with the weapon carousel and you lose your loadout weapon, make sure you guys upgrade your melees, because you'll occasionally get that objective to use your melee to get kills. Spam chopper gunners whenever possible, and also make sure you're running shock charges to either mess with the enemy team and to troll them and to prevent them from reviving their teammates if you just continuously shock them while a horde of zombies are behind you. But another strat for winning 115 games of Grief is really just playing with a team that you trust. Even if you guys don't have many Gobblegums, it's better to play with people that you have open communication with versus randoms, which is never really the best idea when jumping into COD Zombies Online. Now, that challenge was called Grief Go, and I think the name sticks, but the next one we have is on Citadelle Day More, DLC 1. I know back with the Citadelle marketing, they promised more Dark Ops challenges for zombies, but they mentioned new Dark Ops plural, so maybe more challenges are going to be added within the later half of Season 4 or future seasons as well. This next one is called Of Legend, and the description says Felled by Power Fourfold. What you have to do is defeat the Guardian by only using one of the swords during the boss fight. You cannot damage the boss in any way with other equipment or other bullet-based weaponry. You have to be very careful, especially if you're in a co-op game. I'm not really sure if Elemental Pop will also ruin this for you, so I'd be very careful with even drinking that perk and bringing it into a boss, because maybe what could be Shatter Blast eventually, or Brain Rot, or even Napalm Burst, maybe those explosions or elemental ammo mods could hurt the boss, and maybe it's unintentional, but it would affect your progress with this challenge, so I wouldn't even risk anything, right? Just make sure you only have an elemental sword, could be either one of them, and luckily the swords were buffed not that long ago, so they're pretty viable in the boss fight compared to when the map originally came out. And for those wondering if you could do this in directed mode, the answer is yes. All the Dark Ops, to my understanding, at least the ones that have been added the other day, can be done while playing directed mode if you'd prefer to play that and be on a bit of a lower round when going into this boss. The boss itself, I think, could be regarded as one of the tougher ones in Black Ops 6, especially when you make it a challenge like this, but so long as you're using the parry effect by blocking all of the boss's moves and then just spamming them with slice attacks every time he's stunned, you'll be able to take him out in a decent amount of time. But ladies and gentlemen, the Dark Ops that you've all been waiting for. This is probably why you clicked this video, but we have the Friendship Ended Challenge, which can only be completed on the Tomb. I'm fully well aware that over the last few days, there is some misinfo going around that you needed the ice staff, you needed a teammate to go down and bleed out so you can take the staff from them. That's actually not what this Dark Ops is about at all, nor is the Dark Ops even related to what the calling card shows with Maya and the Doppelgas. Kinda have a feeling like this was a scrap challenge for Citadelle Day More that they ended up reusing the calling card for here inside of Season 4. So what you have to do is, plain and simple, activate the jump scare Easter egg and stare at a teammate so that the jump scare also triggers for your squad. Now, you could be in a public match when you do this, or you can be in a match with some of your trusted friends. Either way, this is one of the first co-op Dark Ops challenges inside of Zombies, and if you're familiar with how to do the jump scare over in the Tomb, then this will be a piece of cake. Take a look at any of these weird looking statues. There's one right here by Quick Revive, there's one by, I think, one of the barriers going towards Deadshot Daiquiri, and the cool thing is, every time you do this jump scare Easter egg, you can pass around after you get jump scared, and the statue may end up respawning after a round or two, and you can continuously keep doing this so that all your teammates can get this calling card in their match. Here's the catch, as you guys might be aware of though, with this jump scare, you have to wait a little while for it to trigger, so once you stare at that statue and the eyes glow red, you're gonna have to just run around the map, pass some time, kill around, and you'll hear voices as you navigate your way through the environment, but eventually the jump scare will trigger for you and has a chance to trigger for your friends. If it doesn't trigger for your friends, keep trying it, keep looking at those statues, and mix and match the players that keep looking at that statue until finally everybody in their match can get jump scared and be awarded with the calling card. Again, the goal is to make sure that you activate the jump scare, but it triggers for another player. I would love to see Treyarch try more challenges like this in the future, where the Dark Ops is kind of a riddle and has us all hunting for at least a couple of days. Would even love if some main or other side Easter eggs in the future can also be a little bit more difficult, where it's not just a quick solve in like 2-3 hours as we typically see with every new round-based map release. So bravo to Treyarch for coming up with a pretty cool challenge that took a little while to get solved here inside of Season 4. Really hoping to see more Dark Ops in the next couple of seasons. Now, the final Dark Ops that was added with Season 4 is Apex Prey, and can be completed in the Shattered Veil, specifically in the boss fight, where they want you to deal the finishing blow to the Z-Rex while using a melee weapon. So that does mean you could use any other weapon or equipment that you want to take down the Z-Rex and get him down to very low health. You just have to ride the Z-Rex towards the end and slice him with a melee weapon. It is very important to note that yes, you have to get on his back and use any melee weapon of your choice to deal that finishing blow, which will complete the boss. It's not a challenge where you have to use the melee weapon the entire time like over on Citadelle's Guardian Dark Ops, but this one isn't that hard to do, especially if you're still doing that free fire and underbarrel drill charge strat, which to my understanding still does work pretty efficiently. Not as great as before, but still does deal a good amount of damage in these boss fights. Now, the Z-Rex is probably my favorite boss in this game, and I'm betting it was originally the plan to at least have one new Dark Ops challenge with the release of every DLC round-based map. My guess, though, as well, is that a lot of the core devs that work on zombies are probably head down trying to finish Black Ops 7 right now, so that's probably why some of these little things didn't get added when these maps initially dropped. But in all, I know a lot of folks were disappointed to see that only 4 new Dark Ops challenges were added, essentially just one for every DLC map that's come out thus far since the launch of the game, and then one for Grief. I think if any other permanent modes get added, you'll probably see extra Dark Ops, and there's also the slim chance that we'll see other Dark Ops added to every map that's currently in the game at some point in the near future. On top of that, what I'm hoping is that when Janus Towers releases, the finale to this game, or what you'll call DLC 4, hopefully a new Dark Ops is added straight away to that map's boss fight so that we can go ahead and get that done. I also think it's great that these challenges weren't able to be data mined. The community had to come together and go do these boss fights again to figure out exactly what the challenges were. I mean, the name of each challenge and the look of each calling card kind of gave folks a bit of a hint as to what you had to do. Either way, though, we still had to figure these out by actually going in game. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on every brand new challenge and reward in Black Ops 6 Zombies? Leave all your thoughts down below. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.